So right there in the center of the frame is it's a crack. Actually, it's a chip. A rock has come up and hit this windshield. The piece of paper behind it in the box is just so you can see the chip. But it's, put my finger up here. It's a pretty decent sized chip. So we're going to fill that in today and show you guys how to get rid of that, because if you don't take care of this, sometimes it'll just crack more. So you need to get on it. It's actually a cheap fix. It doesn't cost a lot of money to do this if you do it yourself. What you need to do is you need to buy a kit. And the favorite kit that I like is made by Permatex. It looks like this. And I'll put a link in the description on where to buy this and a little more information about it. And then let's get on it. We'll see what we can do. We'll take care of this chip and make it disappear. So in this kit, you get some oddities. You get a razor blade, a clear piece of plastic, an alcohol prep pad. That's to clean the area out. And I actually recommend before you use that, you take some invisible glass cleaner, probably one of the best glass cleaners out there. Again, I'll put a description and a link where you can find this stuff. It is the Miracle Glass Cleaner. Clean it up with that really well. Then use the alcohol prep pad to take any residue off. And then there's a little container of resin down here at the bottom. There's a funny device here which will show you how to do that, a sticky pad and a syringe. So all in all, some oddities of contents, but it'll work, and we'll show you how to use them. The push pin they give you, it's so you can dig out anything that's in this crack that's loose. So you dig out all the loose pieces of glass with this, make sure there's nothing left in there. Then you take the prep pad and you clean out the hole. Now, I would recommend you clean your hands first, but I'm going to be very careful and not get any of this grease in here. I was actually working on this car, and it's in a parking lot, and I don't have access to a sink, or I would wash my hands first. So I'm going to be very, very careful on cleaning this out. Okay, that's all it takes. So now we just take this pad they give you, and you put the hole right there like that, right in the center. You circle the hole in the hole of the sticker, and you press this pad down very firmly, and you work it in, and you peel the top off. Then the applicator, you just line up with the pad, like so. You work it in. Very important that this sticks really well. That's the point of the alcohol pad, and you also want to make sure that that chip is all cleaned out inside, because anything that's black in it or any dirt or debris you'll see through the windshield. Okay, we're done with that step. So now they have you cut the top of the resin container off, and that leaves you a little teeny tiny hole in the top, and you just put it in here like so, and you squeeze all the contents into this applicator. Now you take the syringe and you stick it in the hole like this. You tighten it down, you pull this back, and you're putting a vacuum on it now. You make sure this retainer doesn't get in your way. And there's a notch that you slip this retainer in, and you let that sit just like that. And that puts this under vacuum, so it'll pull any air in that little crack out, or hopefully, or at least most of it, so you don't see the crack after we seal it back up. The directions say let this sit for 10 minutes, and that's what we're going to do. So it's been 10 minutes, and the directions say to pull this syringe out to allow air to go back up into the syringe, put it back in, and it says to push it down to this notch here. And the directions are pretty clear about this. So the reason we're going to do this is now we're going to put pressure on the syringe, which is going to force some of this glue that's in here, the resin, back down into the areas and the cracks and stuff in that chip that we normally wouldn't be able to get glue in. So it's a pretty unique system, actually. It says let this sit for 20 minutes, so we're going to let it sit for 20 minutes, and then we're going to come back. So it's been 20 minutes now, and the directions say to remove the syringe. Be careful not to drip anything onto anything, because apparently this resin is pretty tough to get off. It says to remove this, and you might need a razor blade, so we're going to try to remove this. Actually, it just popped right off. I got some resin on the glass, so we're gonna have to fix that. And we'll peel this off. And it seems like it's peeling off okay. The instruction says to take this clear window and just put a little resin over the top, which we're just gonna use some from here because we have some. And it says take this clear piece of plastic that they give you and put it over the top like that. And we let it cure. The instruction said to let this sit in direct sunlight for 15 minutes, or if it was a cloudy day, let it sit for an hour. And it was a cloudy day here, so I let it set for, actually it's been a little over an hour. And so now we're supposed to peel this piece of plastic off. And that's what we're going to do. And then we take this razor blade that they gave us and just kind of clean everything up. And you see we're just kind of taking a layer off there is what we're doing. And we're just kind of smoothing out this top layer of resin. So you can see this kit did not get rid of the blemish 100%. However, if you run your hand across the top, it's very smooth. You cannot feel it. It did fill in the divot that was there, but deep down inside, there was a little piece of air pocket that the resin did not get into. Now, what's important is you need to understand how windshields are built to understand why this was necessary. Windshields are 2 layers of glass, and in between those 2 layers of glass is a rubber membrane that's kind of like a gluey, tacky substance that keeps the glass together. This is how they make a safety glass, so that when you're in an accident, it breaks up, but it also gets held together by that piece of rubber membrane. It doesn't cut you up or fall apart. If you expose that to air and moisture, it will fog up. And that's why you see some windshields, especially older windshields, have fog all the way around the edges, because the EVA was exposed to air and moisture and it sucks that up. But when you have a chip in your glass that was as deep as this one, what ends up happening is over time, that chip will actually fog up and it'll start expanding, and you have this milky dot in the middle of your windshield. But by fixing it with this kit, you've sealed that up from the environment, and it will not get any worse than what you have here. From the inside, you almost can't even see it. From the outside, as you can see, it just kind of depends on how the light bounces off. But there definitely is a little speck inside the glass now. And you know what? I'm okay with that, because it's not going to get any worse, and I don't have to worry about it. You definitely wouldn't notice it from the outside anymore. It definitely cosmetically made it look a lot better as well. And from the inside, it's pretty much just as good. You really can't see where the chip was. Like I said, it's not 100% perfect, but it's definitely sealed up. It's not going to get any worse than what it was. It's a cheap enough fix to at least try. And in our case, I consider it a success.